Hey guys, Raymond here again, and today I have the 5-part series on finding the right wedding photographer for you. Okay, let's get into it. First things first, I apologize if I have any sort of mistakes. It's 6 a.m., I have my coffee, I'm gonna do my best, but just in case. So if I make any mistakes, be sure to let me know in the comments. Okay guys, so like I said, this is a 5-part series and I plan to go over everything. So today's video is first just starting off with the basics. Part 2 is going to be getting to know your potential wedding photographer a little bit better and setting up a meeting. Part 3 is going to be what everybody wants to know, pricing and negotiating. Part 4 is going to be mainly about engagements and what you can and cannot do with your photos. And then part 5 is going to be all about your wedding day and how you can best prepare for it. I just want to help you make sure that finding a wedding photographer isn't as overwhelming as you think. There are so many great photographers out there today that finding one can definitely seem like an impossible task. You want a wedding photographer who's going to be excited for your wedding day. You want a wedding photographer who's not going to steal the focus away from you and your new husband on your wedding day. You want a wedding photographer who's going to deliver images based on your relationship and your personality rather than using it as an excuse to build their own portfolio. And you want a wedding photographer who is fun to be around. The problem is that you generally don't get a very good idea of who the wedding photographer is until your wedding day. And if they're not what you wanted, well, it's too late. I made this complete guide to finding the right wedding photographer for you to help make the whole process easier for you so that you can spend more time planning the details of the day that will look beautiful in front of the lens. And if you follow this guide exactly, I'm confident that you can find the right wedding photographer for you. Okay, here we go. So here's tip number 1. Let's start off with the basics. There's a huge variety of wedding photographers out there, and this might take some time. See, finding the right wedding photographer for you is not as easy as Googling your city and then wedding photographer and then just hiring the first person who comes up. Think of a wedding like your favorite TV show. You love that show. You think it's hilarious. You would give up your Friday nights to spend in front of the TV if it meant that your favorite TV show was on. Now, I'm sure that you have a friend who absolutely hates that show, and they can't imagine why you would ever spend any time watching that show, right? And I bet that that same friend has a show that they absolutely adore and you can't stand. And yet they're both TV shows. What are we talking about? Wedding photography is the same. Some people love the moody look of film, while others love the dreamlike, airy, bright photos of other photographers. Just because two different people are wedding photographers does not mean that their photos will be anything alike or come out in any way, shape, or form close to each other. And that's great! Knowing what it is that you want is the first step to being happy with your wedding photographer and being confident that they're going to deliver exactly what you want. Okay, now number 2. Number 2 is narrowing the ocean of wedding photographers out there down to a single glass. This is where you figure out how important wedding photography is for you, and I help you come up with a budget. So there are several things to consider when it comes to wedding photography. First, like I said, is figuring out how important wedding photography is for you. Some people say that it is the absolute most important thing to them aside from saying their I do's, while others know that they just want some photos that later on in life they can look back on. But I'm guessing that if you're watching these videos, wedding photography is pretty high on your list of priorities. So next, I recommend trying to figure out what that magic number is that you're willing to spend on your wedding photography. Now The Knot, you know, like thenot.com, they recommend that you spend 10 to 15% of your total wedding budget on your wedding photography. So the price of your wedding photographer will change whether you live in downtown Manhattan or rural Iowa. Generally, there will be a ballpark range in which all of the photographers who live in your area will be around. So after you find your magic number, the next step is reviewing their work and narrowing it down to the ones that you just can't stop thinking about. Okay, step 3. Stalk them and fall passionately in love with their work. This is where you check out their work on all social platforms and not just their website. You really only get one chance for a wedding photographer, so you really want to know what it is that you're getting into. So this is what most people call the hard part. Where do you even begin to look for a wedding photographer that you can fall in love with? Most people start by Googling wedding photographers in the city that they're getting married in. You could Google weddings at the venue that you're having your reception at. You could search Instagram for hashtag your city wedding photographer. Or ask your recently married friends about their wedding photographer and get their opinion. The point is that it doesn't matter where you start as long as you just start looking for a photographer. So first, start off by finding 5 photographers whose work you love. Focus on their style of editing. Do you like it? Is it consistent? Do all of the photos on their website look like they came from the same photographer? Now pick out one photo that you absolutely love of that photographer's and save it for the next part. Next, check out their Facebook page. See how often they post. Do they engage with their fans and past brides? Check out all the photos there too. Follow them on Instagram. We wedding photographers love to share our work. In this day and age, any photographer that you find is most likely going to have both a Facebook and an Instagram. Now just compile a list of your favorite wedding photographers and get ready to contact them. Alright guys, that was part 1 of 5 of the complete guide to finding the right wedding photographer for you. If you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form, please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you want to know more of. And if you have a friend who recently got engaged, post it on their Facebook page. It could really help them out. And how cool would it be to be the friend who found them their wedding photographer? Again, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. Let me know that you enjoyed it or what you thought was the best piece of advice. And be sure to check out the video description below for part 2 where you actually meet your wedding photographer. Alright guys, thank you again so much. And I hope that you find this guide extremely helpful. Again, Indianapolis wedding photographer Raymond Hatfield here saying thank you. Be sure to check out my website, Hatfield Photography, for more tips, tricks, and guides if you need any more help.